bit about fats today. I know we spoke about omega-3s last week, that's the fish oil, but in general, fats as a group of food. I think fats are also very important in our diet, more than carbohydrates, definitely. And, they have a bad rep, bad name for causing cholesterol and such. But let's take a look at, the different types. So there are different two groups of fats, good and the bad, of course, if you've heard, and most of you seen that online and things. Now, the good, of course, is the polyunsaturated, and the bad is a monosaturated. The good is poly and the mono, and the bad is the trans fats, what they call. Now, the trans fats generally is a byproduct of the hydrogenation process that happens when they process the oils. And generally, that's what you will see on the shelves or in a lot of packaged foods, in a lot of, bakery stuff. So when oil in general is heated and processed, it's turned into trans fats. And that's definitely a bad oil because your body really does not know how to break that down. And, we all know the body is like a lock and key. Everything fits in exactly where it needs to. So something where it changes the molecular structure of that food or that particle, it's really hard for the body to understand where to bring it in or to use it or consume it. So it stores it, arterial blockage, stores in the joints, there could be blockage, and of course fat gain, the fat tissues. So those are your two basic types, and we'll look at the good fats, coming from olive oil. Everybody's heard of olive oil, coconut oil. Now, in between those good and bad, there is a saturated fats, which were technically the bad fats, but they have changed that over the years, about 20 years, when the new research is coming out. But in Ayurveda, of course, it's always been the coconut oil and the ghee as such, which is a clarified butter, which is used in many of the diets and to help with a lot of issues in your body. But fat provides the calories. Fat does not spike your blood sugar. Fat is important for diabetics to eat more fat because it provides more calories as such, and that will reduce your cravings of the carbs and the sugar. So obviously a lot of people that are on ketogenic diets, keto diets, it promotes ketones in the body where it starts burning the fats that's already there. So fat does not put on fat. You have to understand that. Fat, the body will consume for calories and burn it slowly. And this will negate a lot of the carb intake and the carb deposit into fat, which is what's causing a lot of those arterial blockage. Fat promotes really good cholesterol and also promotes the hormones because the hormones feed on that fat or feed on those hormones as such. And this is how the hormones kind of stay balanced. As you age, your hormone levels do decline, and if you go on a non-fatty diet, that's going to make it even worse. So, having good fats has many benefits. Cell membranes, all the cell membranes are made of fatty acids. Joints, lubrication, just like in your car, you need fat to prevent that friction or that wear and tear. So the joints and the cartilage does definitely need some fat and oil to kind of give that lubrication and give that smooth movement. Fats also prevent blood clotting, of course, and a lot of the fats in the old days, of course, in Ayurveda, ghee was used to drive a lot of these herbs and spices into the deep tissues, just like taking turmeric with some fat. And that's why, as kids, my mom used to give us turmeric with some fat, warm fat, whole warm cow's milk. So the fat in that cow's milk was used to drive that turmeric into the bones, into the muscles to prevent inflammation or fever as such. So very important and a lot of benefits in using the fats. Now let's look at the olive oil that you're used to now. Everybody wants because of the Mediterranean diet. The olive, of course, comes from the olive tree, and the olive oil is considered, and we want to talk about, refined or non-refined. And you should always look for the extra virgin olive oil because the virgin kind of shows that when the oil is extracted, there is not heat used in the process where it degrades the oil. So it's usually cold pressed. So you want to look for cold pressed extra virgin olive oil where the least amount of process it's going through. So you're closest to what's extracted from that plant or that seed, the oil that's coming. Generally, so virgin, even the coconut, you should look for the virgin, extra virgin, cold pressed coconut oils. And coconut oil is one of those saturated oils. There is a 50-50 in there because a lot of the bad reps that it got over the years being increasing cholesterol. Now, I'm a big fan of fat. I've always used coconut oil. A lot of my friends know I use coconut oil in basically everything in my cooking. Of course, in my hair also, I use coconut oil. And so some saturated fats are beneficial. There's a lot of research with coconut oil helping create new brain cells or preventing Alzheimer's, Parkinson's. So fatty acids, because these are fatty acid chains that are very important in production of these cells because they protect the cell membranes. So they prevent the degradation of those cells, wherever those cells may be. And, omegas 3, 6, and 9, where now the 6 and 9 where we get a lot in our diet. And so to balance it off, you would need the omega-3s, which we discussed about last week. So, sticking to one extreme is not the right thing. It should be in balance. You need to do a little bit of everything. Of course, the good fats come from the oils that we like, olive, coconut, and of course the nuts. Most of the nuts have good oils, the avocados. But technically, that's not enough. You need to substitute, or you need to have extra olive oil, extra coconut oil, or extra ghee in your diet. In the Indian, in the Hindu religion or the Ayurveda, we use oil or ghee to kindle the fire, or the diyas as such. And same thing, that's what's happening within your gut. What it's doing is when you have ghee, it's kindling that digestive fire. It keeps it burning because it's important to keep burning that digestive fire. So whatever you eat gets broken down or assimilated to a level where the body can recognize and absorb, just like we talked about the key lock and key system that the body has. So it's very important. Ghee, or oils also lubricates your bowels, your colon, so everything moves through slowly or smoothly, nourishes the skin. We need some oil into the skin also. So, fats in a very, very important food group. I would say, like I said last week, fat, fiber, protein, and carbohydrates and sugars. And that's the order what I would look at. And that's what I have always done. I was introduced to the Atkins diet in the late 90s and I kind of stuck to it. Of course, I didn't go extreme to the high fat meats and stuff because those are the saturated fats. And when they're burned, like in the barbecues and stuff, those are worst for you. So just imagine when oil is burned is the most harmful for you. Now, each oil, you would ask the question, which oil should we use for, sauteing vegetables or frying? Well, each oil comes with their smoke point, and that's the smoke point is basically when you heat that oil, how much temperature is needed for that oil to turn into smoke or burn. And you don't want to go beyond that because that's where the oil is degraded or worst for you, where it's going to start clogging your channels, your arteries and stuff. So, olive oil, canola oil, if it's cold pressed, extra virgin, generally is about 400 degrees. The best, so that's good for low heat, medium, stir frying in some vegetables and stuff, or cooking rice. For meats and for high frying, I would use maybe coconut oil and avocado oil because they have a higher temperature, up to 550 or 520 degrees, where that's their boiling point. So, it's important to look at labels, important to see how that oil is processed, because most of the canola oil or the sunflower oil that you're buying at the grocery store or the vegetable oil, those are refined. Those are trans fats as such because they're burnt. And this is what is used in the franchises with McDonald's, Burger King, when they're frying those burgers or they're frying those fries. And a lot of those packaged foods that you're buying, cakes, pastries, pancakes, all those, they use these oils, hydrogenated oils as we call, and that's the process where heat is used to attach an extra hydrogen carbon to the carbon fatty acid chain. And they use that for lowering costs, of course, and basically giving the product more shelf life. So, preventing it from being rancid. So I hope, that kind of clarifies some things, and let's look out for the extra virgin olive, coconut, canola oils, which are very beneficial. And, olive oils you can definitely just pour onto your food after it's cooked and it's in your plate, because it's very important to get enough fat in your diet. Now, everybody is unique and everybody is different. You have to be careful if you don't have a gallbladder, or if you have gallstones, or if you do not produce the enzyme lipase, where fats are very hard for you to digest. But it's very important to have fats. You can substitute the enzymes, you can get lipase, and there are a lot of supplements out there where it can help somebody who does not have a gallbladder so they can process the fats better. So I hope that was pretty clear about the fats. And next tomorrow we'll catch up on another topic. And this is Cosmic Mike signing off. Have a good night.